I want your report, and I want it now, Mahoney. What the hell happened 75 miles east of L.A.?
Well, sir, we're still trying to make sense of it all. There's so many bodies. 65 at least, but we're still trying to get a full count of the men inside the tank.
Tank? Did you say tank?
That's right, Chief. The location appeared to be some mercenary training camp. They were pretty well equipped, and military vehicles were in abundance.
Jesus, horn-swoggling fancy pants Christmas.
We found a guy who appears to be killed with a tree, a guy who was beaten with his own arm, some fat door-to-door sales guy with no shoes, what appears to be a cave made of willow trees, a couple of Mexican marijuana farmers, booby traps, and like a ton of guys killed with a knife. Like, a ton.
What about Detective Jamie's father? Any sign of him?
Well, I'm afraid, sir, we did find him and his daughter. Both were shot in the face.
Well, at least some good came of this. And the suspect?
He's in custody right now. We've tried to get him to put a shirt on, but he refuses, and his balls keep coming out of his cutoffs. It's pretty weird in the interrogation room.
Have you identified him yet?
He's given us his name, Mike Danton.
So, Mr. Danton, you say that you were just minding your own business when some guys kidnapped you and then you killed all of them. Is that right?
That's right.
And after this Thornton guy shot your wife in the face, you killed him and then made the guy in charge take his clothes off and run away. Then what happened?
I was hungry, so I walked down to the In-N-Out in Anaheim.
The one on Firestone Boulevard?
No, the one on La Palma.
How'd you get there? Did you take the 55 north to the 91 and then get off at Cannon Street?
No, I took South Weir Canyon to Esperanza. Isn't this a joke from something else?
Never mind that. We borrow heavily from other sources, but it's so we can get to the truth.
So at the In-N-Out, I ordered a chicken sandwich since my cholesterol's a little high. But they only have hamburgers there. How can you only have hamburgers?
They also have grilled cheese.
Shut up, Mahoney!
So I grabbed the kid at the front counter's head and tore it off. Then I threw it at the manager and knocked him into the deep fat fryer. This caused all the other pasty-faced teenagers to go into a panic. So I knifed 3 of them and did the behind the back neck break move to 2 others. Then some old lady hit me with her purse and called me a brute, so I bit her nose off and jammed her own finger into the hole until it poked her brain.
Understandable. I've always found In-N-Out to be a little pretentious and overrated myself. So then you left?
Well, not before I cooked up a couple burgers, because, fuck it. So then I took my dog for a walk, but I forgot to get the poop bags. So when my dog took a big shit, some guy hassled me about not picking it up, so I said, "You want me to pick it up? Fine." So I knocked him over, then I took the dog shit, shoved it up his ass until it came out of his mouth.
Well, I can't say I haven't wanted to do just that to the DA. Am I right? Am I right? That was a funny, Mahoney.
Right, sir. Very droll.
So after the shitmouth was dead, I went to the dentist, and they wanted to do a filling, but they were out of nitrous, so I...
Sir, I've just received word from the Coalition for the Advocacy of Bad Movie Sequels. They say that Danton here is needed.
Well, Mr. Danton, I guess we've no choice but to let you go. It's been really great talking with you, and we wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors.
Looks like the streets are about to get a little bloodier. Right, sir?
Shut up, Mahoney. Leave the setup of jokes to the professionals. Looks like the streets are about to get a little deadlier.
The deadliest.
Hello and welcome to Stinker Madness, the podcast about bad movies by bad movie lovers. I'm your host, Justin, and with me, as always, are Sam and Jackie. Hello, Sam and Jackie.
Hello.
Do you guys have any riveting, interesting tales to wile our listening audience with?
Yeah, I do. I went on a date.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went on a date, and I was making some jokes, and she thought I was funny. And she's like, "Do you do impressions?" And I was like,
God damn.
"Yeah." So I did Bill Cosby, and I put some GHB in her hamburger. Hey, yo!
Oh, so this wasn't a real date. This was just
a date that you made up in your head while you were watching it.
No, I didn't do that. I just went on a date, and she was like, well, you want to do anything later? And I was like, well, it's 8:30, and I usually go to bed.
So did you still make her pay for the hamburgers? Because then you're double douche.
Yeah.
And so you told her you were going to bed at 8:30, and what happened?
I went to bed at 8:30.
So this date was
Alone.
obviously fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was. No, I get pretty tired.
Regularly, not just on dates.
Yeah. I get up early.
Great story, Jackie. Do you have any?
Well, I don't have anything that's going to top that one.
All right.
GHB and somebody. I mean, I try to do it to you, but you're like a freaking cattle. You just don't go down.
Sir, you have a quart of GHB in your system. You got any Billy Joel?
Because I'm still standing.
That's Elton John.
Oh, yeah.
Either way.
All right, we must move on. It's streaming do's and don'ts this week. Jackie watched none of these. Neener, neener, neener. So
That's my cue to sit quietly and not make any noise.
Uh-huh.
Starting now.
All three of these are on YouTube. So if you like them, be sure to go on YouTube because you have no excuse not to. Like, oh, I don't have any money. It's free. First up is Shotgun, starring 0 people that will ever be in film ever again.
I thought his partner has done like 6 or 7 movies.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
It's the story of 2 tough cops, and it's like every single tough cop cliche of all time, but fail at any of it.
The first strike that this thing had is that the star is like 7'2".
Uh-huh.
Therefore, they're unable to fit him into the shot with anybody else.
Yes.
So most of the movie is him from the waist up and then somebody's head in the shot.
Like half their head.
And then when he's doing his action sequences, he's obviously just tall and not athletic.
Right.
So he's just having trouble moving, and it's, whoa.
And he's got Dan Fogelberg's hair and Michael Bolton's jacket.
I think he had Mr. Rogers' sweater for a
Yeah,
while.
Mr. Rogers' sweater. This guy is amazing. This film is the same vein of awesome shittiness that we loved about Templar Nation.
It was.
It is bad on every level.
And it goes past that because it has the same quality that the acting is just so tremendously terrible.
Awful.
And that the film itself doesn't know what's happening inside of itself.
No clue.
That the characters don't know what's going on.
It's like if Dean Lerner was the executive producer of this film. It would be, that's what you get.
Yes.
It's might as well have been directed by Garth Marenghi because this thing is atrociously bad and awesome throughout. I could not stop laughing at it.
When he decided, when the movie really just kind of lost itself completely and had no idea what was going on, and he comes out and says, after a phone call where they're like, I'm going to kill you. And then he goes to his best friend and goes, they've put a contract out on me. Yeah. And it's like, that's not, no, they threatened you. They are one guy on the other end of a phone. And so when he says that they put a contract on him, he has no idea what's going on in the movie, and the movie doesn't have. I actually fell out of the chair, and I couldn't breathe for about 3 minutes because it was just so stupid.
And he's just a bounty hunter. He's just a bounty hunter. Nobody fucking cares at all. They've got a hit on me. Yeah. No, they don't.
They don't.
Jackass.
Because you're not fast, and you've been shooting some cronies in the ass with rock salt, busting up the drugs.
Shotgun Jones. Oh, man. I totally give this a mega do.
It's a mega do.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Fantastic. Shit. Go watch it right now because it's wonderful. Next up on YouTube and the Mill Creek Sci-Fi Invasion Pack that I've been talking about at Walmart for $8, 50 movies. Death Machines, starring, again, 0 people. You remember this one, Sam?
I'm having a hard time remembering what happened in Death Machines.
It was the Asian mumble lady who could not say a single word of dialogue, even though she clearly spoke English. She just was mumble, 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 mumble. And she created an army of essentially universal soldiers that were crap.
And then her hair was like 6 times the size of her body, and she kept almost going over because her hair weighed too much.
They decided to put this poor woman in every single one of her scenes on stairs. She's already wobbly because of her giant hairdo. Don't put her on stairs. That's a death trap.
And it wasn't even really it was a bad fake hair. It was like they put a vase on her head and then just wrapped it up with horsehair or something, and then made her stand on the stair in heels, and she's just going over. She probably fell down 8 times making the thing.
I bet. Yeah, so she's got an army of well, I shouldn't say army. She's got a gang of universal soldier type guys, brainwashed military guys. Each have their own skills. Each is their own ethnicity. We should mention the American's just a gun guy. The Japanese guy's a sword guy. The black guy knows some karate. And then there was somebody else that I don't remember.
See, you should have let me guess all those.
Yeah.
And
I'm great with stereotypes.
then there's a nutsack that's trying to like piece the whole mystery together.
He's just a victim of the karate school getting...
Oh, God.
Yeah, so the karate school gets murdered, and he survives without a hand.
Yeah.
And he has a problem with that. And then some nurse that shouldn't care about him is like, but I care about you, and I don't know why. And they have this whole love story that doesn't matter, which eventually they're going to leave town for a while, and then, those are the guys that did the karate school. So it manages to sew itself back up.
Barely.
Barely. And there was a cop in there, too.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to give this one a do not.
Really?
I didn't like it.
I kind of can't in conscious give it a do because we had to talk about it a lot before I remembered exactly what happened.
Yeah.
It was a little boring.
It was just not very eventful, and it was mostly the guy from the karate school whining about how he doesn't have a goddamn hand anymore and how he's just a waiter at bartender guy with no hand and like, oh, my karate school is gone. What am I going to do? Did you see that everybody got fucking murdered, dude? Like, what are you going to do with your life? Have a little remorse for humankind. It's just him being a little whiny bitch for most of
His
the movie.
cocktail career is over.
Yes.
He's never going to be able to flip the bottle again.
Absolutely not.
It seemed like it was a beer bar. That bar was weird.
Yeah.
It had a lot of moments, but it just
Yeah.
didn't put it all together.
Yeah, I'm going to still stick with my do not.
Yes.
Last but not least, Sho Kasugi in Rage of Honor. Ninja 4-ish.
Yes. It should have been Ninja 3. Because Ninja 3, the domination isn't really the same movie as he does every time.
No
Whereas
other-
this one was.
How dare you, sir? No movie should be Ninja 3 other than Ninja 3.
Exactly.
Right.
What should have been Ninja 1 or Ninja Omega?
It's just kind of... This is just Cop, who's also a ninja, but never is, like, dressed as a ninja. He's just a tough cop that has Chinese stars and swords and ninja gadgets galore and smoke bombs, and he can fly and do miraculous things.
Yeah, this one wasn't. It was the other one. Pray for Death is the one I'm thinking of. That's Ninja 3. What he wanted to do. This is the one that is basically just him as a DEA cop guy.
Yeah, one tough cop that's also a ninja.
That's also a ninja. I think beyond Ninja 3, this is the most fun I've had with a Sho Kasugi movie.
I would absolutely agree with that. It's hilarious. The action sequences are nonstop. It is a roller coaster throughout the entire thing, and at no point is it not ninja bullshit. And you can barely understand a word that Sho Kasugi says. And dear God, and I love that guy.
Yeah.
But wowie, wow. It's just also mush mouth, but at least he gets the volume up, so it's just loud mush mouth.
I thought that was the only opportunity they missed was to have a long conversation with him and the Spanish guy that you couldn't understand either.
Right.
That would have made this thing, actually, I think if that would have happened, this one would have gone over the top of Ninja 3.
And the fact that the bad guy has unlimited bad guys. Like, he's got so many henchmen, and they just keep coming. They're coming in trucks and helicopters and springing out of the ground, and oh shit, they got his girlfriend. Why is she even on this island of ninja death? It's fantastic.
And he goes into the warehouse, and I don't know if they were actually henchmen or if they're just warehouse workers that got dragged into it. Like, because he just he commits genocide to a tribe.
Right.
They're not working for. I think that there's just so much collateral damage around this guy that
Oh, man.
he kills an entire race of people and a small town inadvertently.
He literally kills an entire race of native tribal people that just happen to be living next to the bad guy's base. They've probably lived with the bad guy for centuries. You know, his family and the two cultures intermingling and exchanging and doing fine. It's not such a bad guy. He's better than Columbus. And then Shokasugi comes in and kills all of everybody.
It was weird because you think he's going to be like, oh, and then they'll be like, these are indigenous people, and they'll be like, oh, this. They'll point and make some gestures about the bad guys, and they'll team up. But that's not. He just kills all of them.
He kills all of them. It's ridiculous. I loved Rage of Honor. Absolutely, probably gonna make my year in review.
Absolutely, that was.
It's great.
Yeah,
Definitely do. And there's no excuse. The transfer on YouTube is good. We will have links to it on our website. It's also on our YouTube channel under our recommended movies playlist. So check that out. This week on the wild card, since it's my pick with The Deadliest Prey.
Oh, that's my cue to talk again.
Yep, you're good. You're good to go. This week we're going to do a recap of our superhero three-peat. Good Neighbor, Bad Neighbor. Starting with, now again, this is not the character from anything other than the movie. Mm-hmm. Make no inferences.
sure.
Starting with Clark Kent from Superman 4.
Good neighbor.
What?
Okay. All right. He lives above a bar,
Yeah.
which we clearly addressed. So you also live above a bar.
Which means I'm drunk all the time, which means I could give a fuck less who my neighbor is.
Okay. All right. He is quiet.
You have to actually just live in the adjacent building because that was the only apartment above that bar.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
So at that point, you have such a distance from him that he might be a good neighbor because he's always gone and he's really far away.
Actually, he's not always gone. I am led to believe that in Superman 4, he's home for most of the time. He gets a little gloomy at the Daily Bugle every now and then, but it seems like he's doing a 9-to-5 stint at the Daily Bugle.
He's at the Daily Planet.
The Daily Planet. Yeah, that's Spider-Man that's at the Daily Bugle. He flies to the Fortress of Solitude briefly, but then he gets sick and he's home for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And all the sequences where he's fighting are just so brief that I think he's there for the most part.
And anytime he sees you do something, he probably tells you your business.
I don't think he does. I
Yeah.
think he just leaves you alone.
But tries to be charming about it. And then, like, hijinks happen. And, like, oh, here, let me pick that up for you.
Yeah.
And he ends up breaking all your dishes because he's trying to clean your house because he's super strong. He's like the Incredible Hulk as Superman in this movie. He's just kind of a fucking doofus. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say Bad Neighbor.
I'm going to say good neighbor.
Okay.
I'll stick with good neighbor, provided that he doesn't constantly tell me my business about taking out the trash.
All right, next up from Supergirl, Selena the Witch.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with Supergirl. I was like,
No.
she's tarded, so I'm not allowed to make fun.
Yeah. No, Supergirl, the only place she lives is in that stupid snot bubble. And you can't be her neighbor because then you'd be a fish at the
Or-
bottom of a lake.
Yeah. They live in a mall.
Yeah, right. No. Selena.
Well, you live in a fun house, so that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, either that or you're living in another part of the circus area. You could be the Tilt-A-Whirl
Oh,
neighbor.
Okay.
suck.
So you're homeless, basically. You
Yeah,
sleep
so
outside.
you're essentially homeless because she's got the fun house, and that's pretty much the only indoor thing at a carnival.
There's the Gravitron. You could live inside of a pukey spin top thing.
The pukey spin bucket.
Yeah, the pukey spin bucket. Which I
Yummy.
guess if you're homeless, you're going to be spinning and puking in wherever you live. So
Well, if you're homeless, I'll have to take it from that perspective. Seems like she has some pretty crazy booze parties,
that's true.
which you'd probably want to go to.
Yeah, and I don't think her guest list is very exclusive. It seemed like everybody was there.
Even the people that she didn't want to be there.
Right.
Yeah, like you could just say, "Yeah, I'm a witch too," and then she would let you in.
Yeah, right. I mean, what's she going to do? Prove it. You prove it, stupid. She can't prove it
Not
until she
really.
gets spooky powers later. So, good neighbor.
Yeah, why not?
I'm saying bad neighbor.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I think she's just obnoxious, and I think if you do anything that she doesn't like, she's throwing rocks and shit at you.
Which you're homeless, so the children are doing that anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's your neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have some decency.
God damn. Rock throwing at bum chucking lady.
Yeah, it's like
You're one of us.
we're leaving in the same circus park.
We are in this together, ma'am.
Last but not least, from Punisher Warzone, Billy the Beaut, not Jigsaw. Billy the Beaut.
Maybe the worst neighbor ever.
This guy is a fucking asshole. He's the one that sees you eating a bagel and he's like, "Do you really need that?" Over the fence. And you're like, "How did you get over the fence? It's like 9 feet high." I had this elevator thing so that I could look over the fence.
I don't think he even gives a shit about you. He's too busy looking in the mirror. He's only cares about what's in front of Billy the Beaut, and that's always going to be a mirror. But he's going to tell you about how good he looks.
Yeah, whenever you see him, he's going to talk about him. And there's just going to be shit that comes out of his yard and ends up in your yard.
Oh, absolutely.
All the time.
He has to have an immaculate property, so he hires, because everything's got to be beautiful with Billy the Beaut.
Yeah.
So he hires gardeners and cleaning people and stuff, but their job is to not put the trash where it belongs. It just goes straight in your yard.
Yeah, and
That
if you
is your problem.
Say anything to him, he talks fast and puts his hand on your shoulder, and then he slips you some money, and then he leaves, and by the time you get to look at it, he's already gone, and it's a fucking $5.
It may not be money at all. It
Yeah.
could just be... It could be a piece of paper with a
condom
dollar, drawn on it, because the man is a moron. We must not forget that he is a complete and utter idiot.
It's a post-it note with a veiny penis drawn on it.
Here's a 5 for you. Oh, you suck, Billy the Beaut.
Yeah, I'm going to say bad neighbor.
Totally bad neighbor.
Yeah. About as bad as they get.
All right. So, Sam, tell us about Deadliest Prey.
David A. Pryor died tragically at the age of 59 from what his brother Ted described as a long battle with failing health. I have done some digging, and I have discovered that on the coroner's report, it clearly states he died from being too awesome.
Ah, yes. That's like,
Coincidentally, I am now worried about my own health. Boo. Boo. His last project was working on the screenplay with longtime friend and collaborator, director, and dance choreographer David Winters on his most recent opus, Danton It's On.
yeah.
Dancing It's On really needs some better punctuation, I think.
Dancing it's on.
Dancing, it's on, or dancing, it's on, exclamation point, possibly. I think the title, Dancing It's On, is the reason it probably only grossed $27,000 at the box office.
That much, huh?
Yeah, which is low considering Gary Daniels plays a supporting role. in the
Right,
film.
yeah, I saw that.
Pryor's last directorial effort was Relentless Justice with Eric Roberts. In the comments section of the somewhat lacking obituary for Pryor in the AV Club, about 14 or 15 trolls down, one Deborah Newberry described how Pryor was the catalyst to a great many careers, as filmmaking wasn't really a big thing in Alabama when he was doing it. Most of his films were shot in and around Mobile, and one of his other longtime crew members, Tommy Fell, is now the director of the Alabama Film Commission. Oh, okay. So he's actually one of those guys that really did a lot for those that were like, she works in New York as a makeup artist now. So like these people really got some help from him.
Good.
And he was one of those guys that like elevated all that was around him and his town in that. Ted Pryor used to be the Wiener Show. He may still be. You would think that having adult children would shut that shit down, but who knows? He danced for Chippendales, posed for Playgirl, and claims that he had way too much fun back in those days. He would eventually settle down and marry female bodybuilder Ray Hollett, who we all know as
Ray?
Zap. Ray, R-A-Y-E, Ray.
Ah.
But the important part about Ray Hollett is that she is Zap from the original American Gladiators.
Oh, nice. Wasn't Zap a sister?
No.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
That was Nitro.
at the height of her...
No, Nitro was a dude.
Nitro was a dude. At the height of Zap's muscleness, and around the same time that they started dating and got married, she looked pretty much just like him. Like the guns were about the same size, same haircut. Yeah. They were actually at a family outing in April this year when another patron at the In-N-Out told Ted to go fuck himself, to which he replied, "I have been for 26 years.
Oh my God. Wah, wah.
How do you think Danton does at the American Gladiators? Does anybody live?
Does anybody live? Yeah.
There's that one shoot 'em up gladiator thing where you have like the bazooka Nerf gun and you
Yeah.
have to dodge shit. I see that going poorly for everybody.
Everybody
when they
else.
expect knives, or they expect Nerf balls and get knives.
Yeah.
Maybe a tree.
Well, I guess the Pryors had no idea of the following that Deadly Prey had developed until several years ago when attending a boisterous screening. Ted had brought the youngest of he and Hollett's 4 children. He recounted in an interview that they left the screening with his son thinking that his dad was an awesome movie star. I guess Ted hasn't put together that he is an awesome movie star. You're not like a Hollywood star. You're not like a big thing, but awesome and movie star, those are two things you are.
Two things you are, yes. Indeed.
Subsequently, that would cause them to make this sequel. The film would bring back David Campbell as Hogan. Fritz Matthews, despite having his character beaten to death with his own arm, would return as well.
Does he have 2 arms in this movie?
Yes, well, he plays the twin of the late Lieutenant Thornton.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a Danton soap opera.
Yes.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, and apparently Matthews had to lose. He didn't have to, but because he was so excited about it, lost 35 pounds to reprise his role.
Nice.
There are 2 female characters, and spoiler alert, one of them, specifically Kat Tomini, has the last name Danton.
Interesting.
So I imagine in the story world of the Deadly Prey series that Danton's just grabbed another wife with hot dogs and beer the next time he went out.
Yep. This is my new one. She's probably also going to die. All my wives
Exactly.
just end up murdered, but, it's cool.
Whatever.
I didn't do it.
Well, keep an eye out for Bennett Wayne Dean Sr.
Bennett Wayne Dean Sr.
Yeah. I don't know who he is, but his name is fun to say.
Bennett Wayne Dean Sr.
Bennett Wayne Dean Sr. What a name. How is he not a big deal, right? That's a perfect name to be a big deal.
Starfighter.
It's like,
Bennett Wayne Dean Sr., is that right?
yeah, Bennett Wayne Dean Sr. So, like, you're a casting director. Like, all right, who do we have next? We have Steve Tom Bob Frank. Is that really his name? I hope not, but he's made a poor decision.
Ay. Bennett Wayne Dean Sr., part-time gator wrangler, full-time ladies' man.
Yeah. He has that sort of picture on IMDb, too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait for Deadliest Prey. We have it on Blu-ray. Jackie bought it for me for Christmas last year. And if you haven't seen Deadly Prey, definitely make sure you watch that. The full version of Deadly Prey is still on YouTube. It's also available on Blu-ray. We just watched it in full not very long ago, a couple months ago on Blu-ray.
Christmas.
Yeah. So it was just as good the second time. Prepare for Danton to kill 1 million people, and I would assume an exploding chopper. So, Jackie?
That's my death. Thank you. Oh, please stop clapping, you two. I know. That was my Danton death scene.
I was giving you the eyeball to take us out.
Oh, well, I can do that too. Get to the chopper.
Fans of Stinker Madness, iTunes thinks you don't like us. What? How is that possible? Well, it's because you haven't given us a review yet. Go to Stinker Madness on iTunes and take just a couple seconds to rate and review us there. While you're at it, hit up Stitcher.com as well. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter @/Stinker Madness and email us at talk@stinkermadness.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening and get to the chopper.